We can see.
Can everyone see my screen? Perfect. So hi everyone, this is Mohammed Syam. I'm a solution architect working for AmericanEagle.com, and I will be speaking with my colleague here, Gaurav Agarwal, about Content Hub product content management or Content Hub PCM. We're working as solution architects at Sitecore at AmericanEagle.com, who's a Sitecore Platinum partner based in Chicago, with more Sitecore talented people in London, Bulgaria, UAE, and Jordan. So for the next 30 minutes or so, we will be basically talking about Content Hub PCM. We will give an overview about the module, and we will also be talking about the migration journey, like how you can migrate your product data into PCM, how you like all the details around the migration process, about the product's metadata, about images or assets, how you can import these into Content Hub, how you can link your assets with your products, and how the internal integration can be utilized to probably integrate with other systems as well. Also, we will be talking about best practices when working with Content Hub, basically of when you extend the existing schemas and the different areas around it. First of all, I want to just give an overview about the PCM module in Sitecore Content Hub. Sitecore PCM is a management system used to create, categorize, organize, and publish all product-related information. With PCM, you can stay in control of your product content, among other things. You can integrate existing product data with a new marketing content to create a single source of truth. You can streamline the content process in a single platform, supporting multiple brands, complex product ranges, lifecycle, and of course, localization. You can view how and where product assets are used across commerce sites, catalogs, mobile apps, point of sale, and more. There are three main areas or three main items you would be it would be useful to know. Basically, the catalogs, the categories, and products. These are three important items you need to understand when you work with PCM. With catalogs, it's a PCM function by which you can ensure products is basically organized and structured. PCM enables organization to define commerce catalog structure by creating high-level taxonomy that lets you classify and categorize products and manage catalog versions. If you look into the screenshot at the top, this is basically like 4 different catalogs created in Sitecore Content Hub PCM. And under that, you can also create categories. It's another taxonomy. You can define categories, which help you to categorize your products. And it can also be used as facets to filter your products, as you can see here in the bottom screenshot. When we talk about the PCM module license, it's basically included in the Sitecore Digital Asset Management, or the DAM license. So if you buy the DAM, you will be getting the PCM as part of the license. There is an integration between PCM and DAM, where metadata is shared between Sitecore PCM and DAM. So you can see related product metadata from within the Sitecore DAM. One important thing to know when working with a PCM module is basically the product entity, which is at the heart of the PCM schema. And you can see here from this screenshot the m.pcm.product. This is basically the name of the schema for the product in the PCM. If you're not familiar with the schema in Content Hub, basically you can think about it as template in Sitecore CMS. You can see that the main schema in the PCM is called m.pcm.product. Basically, it's the schema or the base template for defining products. And you can also see like we have relations with other entities. So as example, there is a relation between m.pcm.product and m.asset. And if you're familiar with Sitecore Content Hub DAM, this is the main schema for uploading or for creating assets in the DAM module. This relation basically help you to link multiple assets into the product. You can see also other relations to m.pcm.catalog, the one that we talked about, m.pcm.product product family. You can also see another many-to-many relationship with m.content in the CMP module. And you can see like other relations with other modules. If you also have a free modeling enabled in your Content Hub instance, you will be able also to extend and create your own relations with other types and schemas. When we talk about a migration journey, like if you have products in a legacy system or on another system and you would like to migrate your products into Content Hub, there are some considerations you need to think about. First of all, you need to look into the existing product schema and see if this is basically match what you need. Like, does it contain all the attributes to hold my product's metadata information? Also, you need, if you're building it for international company, you would need to think about localization and multilingual stuff. You would also need to think about, does the PCM support like, switching between languages, creating like different languages for a product, creating different languages for an asset, and so on. So this is basically the main thing you should think about when you work with a migration to the PCM. So here as example, like if you have m.pcm.product and you're thinking about like, okay, does it contain all the attributes that I need, like all the fields that I need? Most of the time, no, right? You would need to extend that. So you would probably think of two approaches, like, should I create my own schema? Similar to how you create a template in Sitecore, you can create a new schema in Content Hub. Or should you just extend the existing m.pcm.product, like add your own section fields and fields? So the correct approach here is basically to extend the m.pcm.product, like just add your section fields and fields into that schema. The reason why behind it is basically like all new and upcoming features will be built around this m.pcm.product. So you don't want to lose that. So just go with the out-of-the-box one and just extend it. Another thing you would need to worry about is basically, should I use taxonomy or an option list for my fields? Like both taxonomies and option lists are basically, think about it as a drop-down field. So when you define a new field and you wanted it to be dropped down, you can either choose a taxonomy or an option list. This is very important item you need to worry about, because there are different scenarios when you should use a taxonomy and when you should use an option list, and we will talk about it in the next slides. Also, you need to think about the metadata attributes and how you can set it up to be multilingual. And if you want to use like different assets per catalog or different assets per language version, like how I can do that. So updating the schema. If you can see the screenshots here I have on the slide, like on the left, I have m.pcm product, like screenshots from an out-of-the-box Content Hub instance. You can see here I have like 8 sections, 8 field sections. And on the right, you can see the difference with a customized one where I can extend the m.pcm.product, adding my additional field sections and attributes. So basically, you can easily extend, and I will show you in a minute, like in a sandbox, how you can do that. But basically, it's an easier process. Now, when we talk about taxonomies, as I said, you can think of it as a dropdown, a subset of metadata. And basically, you can have it as a hierarchical as well. So think about it as a tree structure. And one of the important things that you should use taxonomy, or we prefer taxonomy over option list, is basically you can use the taxonomy selected values to derive security on the entity. For option list, you can't do that. You can't do that. So basically, when you go to user groups in the permissions section in Content Hub, you can set permissions based on the selected value of a taxonomy. Also, the list of possible values, if it's very long, like if you're expecting to have a very long list of items in your dropdown, you should go with taxonomy because it's searchable and paged. And the other thing would be like the items need, like if the items need to have more properties than just a name. So, like a dropdown usually have a name and value, right? But in taxonomy, you can extend that to add more attributes into the taxonomy definition to hold more information into that item in the dropdown. For option list, you can do that. One other thing you would be interested to know about taxonomies, like you can handle or basically update taxonomies using an Excel sheet. You can export a taxonomy from Content Hub into an Excel sheet. As you can see here, like this is a sample, basic taxonomy here. This is basically the name of the taxonomy. Each item will be in a separate row. You can have an identifier, a name, and as you can see, you can have a multilingual label. All what you need to do for the column title is to have the hash sign and the language code, and then you can translate this content. One other thing you would need to know about it is it supports hierarchy. So as example, you can add basic taxonomy to self-parent column, and then you can decide, okay, what would be the parent for this item? You can just add the identifier for it here. And then Content Hub will automatically understand where to place this one. Option lists on the other side, as I said, it should be used for a limited list of possible values. You can also do the same thing. You can manage it through Excel sheet as well. Like you can export it from Content Hub and import it back. It's sometimes recommended to use option list instead of taxonomy, since it makes the data structure less complex so that the graph doesn't need to load extra information such as relations. So basically, there are some scenarios where option list is basically preferred over taxonomies. I would leave this section to Gaurav probably in the best practices section because option list basically would make it simpler and faster for and better performance for your application. Multi languages or multilingual support. First of all, like when you define your attributes in your schema, like basically adding a field to an existing schema, make sure like to check the multilingual checkbox here. You can think of this checkbox as, if you remember the shared checkbox on the fields on Sitecore CMS, this is the same idea. The difference here that once you create the field, you can't update this field again. You can't check that checkbox or uncheck it after you create the field. So you will end up either deleting the field and recreate it if you have like one or two fields to update, or if you have too many fields and you want to change this attribute, you would need to export it like using import-export functionality in Content Hub into a JSON format, do the changes there, and then import it back into Content Hub. I would skip these slides, but probably like in previous versions of PCM, the language selector that was here was missing. Like basically when you go to the product detail, even if you have defined more than one language in your system, you will not be able to see a language selector. You can overcome that, or you can work around it and add your own language selector. It would be easy to basically add an HTML component or an external component that do the job. But I think in newer versions of PCM has the language selector out of the box, so you don't need to worry about it. But previously, we had to do some workaround to basically add that language selector HTML component into the page and make it visible on the product detail page, as you can see here on the right section, where now we have a language selector. This is currently out of the box. You don't need to worry about it. Now, one other thing you need to know is basically like when you go to the DAM, to the m.asset, like when you go to the details of the m.asset, basically details of an image, let's say, you can have a language selector where you can choose like different languages. The only fields that gonna be updated is basically description, I think, and one other field. But the image itself, the binary itself, the file itself is basically shared. So if you're working for an international company, let's say, and you want to have like different images or different version of the image based on a language or based on a country, you can do that. So you have to work around this. For us, what we did, as I can see here, like as you can see here in the example, we basically did a workaround where we tagged the images with the catalog. So as example, we have different catalogs, as you can see here. As example, I have a UK asset, I have ES asset, I have a French asset. So all what we need to do is to go to the like in the asset detail page, you have a product section, and you can select basically the catalogs that you want to tag this image with. So basically, I can tag it with a UK catalog, and then I use this image for the UK front-end website only. So this is basically a way of overcoming the multilingual for it. But if you think of any other approach, let us know. I would be interested to hear about. Now, I want to talk quickly about like product images migration, products metadata migration, like how you can basically add your images to Content Hub, how you can add your products metadata to Content Hub, and so on. As probably you know about it, but you can also import assets into Content Hub using Excel sheet. As you can see here, this is a screenshot of an Excel sheet. From the left, like we have a file, which is basically the URL of your image or your asset file. Then you have PCM catalog to asset. Basically, I want to tag this image or this asset with this catalog, and this is basically identifier of the catalog. Product name, this is used for as a relation between the product and the asset. Title, final life cycle, status to asset. This is just the status of the asset. Batch ID, this is an important, like if you're importing a lot of assets into the system, it would be good if you do it on batches. And then you can like run scripts against these assets based on the batch ID. So in case like for some reason, like your batch failed or part of your batch failed, you can just delete all assets with this batch ID and rerun the operation. And of course, as I said, like description is a multilingual, so you can do localization, as you can see here. Same thing goes with importing products. Like you can also manage your products in an Excel file and then just go into your product listing page. And the same thing, you can use the import functionality through an Excel sheet and you can import your products. Of course, like these columns names should match your existing schema fields. One other thing I would like to show now, like how you can, like let's say you imported your products, you imported your assets. Okay, how I can link the products to the assets. I wrote a Content Hub script. I can show you that. It's already on GitHub on guests. Basically, this is a script, and I will show you where you can run this in Content Hub if you're not familiar with, but basically you can write C# scripts into Content Hub. As you can see here, like I have a query. Basically, the query has one filter, which is definition query filter. Like I'm just like getting all assets. I'm doing like query by 100, so 100 assets at the time. Here I have an iterator that execute the query and go through each asset. I'm checking a product name on the asset. If you remember that column I included in the Excel sheet, so each asset is linked to a product by name. The product names I have is basically unique, so I can't use that. And then basically another query to get the product entity, and then I just update the relation. This is a Content Hub script. You can trigger it either by adding a trigger, or you can even trigger it using Postman action as well. Now, I would like to show you some of the, like when we talk about integration with external systems, I would like to show you like quick overview of Content Hub. Just want to make sure, guys, you're seeing my browser, right?
Yes, Mohammed.
Perfect. So as you can see here, like I have a Content Hub sandbox with an existing template. Here on the left, you can see the products and you can see the catalogs as well. Let me just sign in again. This is a predefined template. Like when you create your sandbox, you can choose the flavorful, I think it's called, template, and it will come with existing theme, existing catalogs, products, and assets. You can see these catalogs, and I can use this button on the right to create my own catalogs as well. Also, you can go to the products section. You can see the different products we have within the module. You can see the facets that we can use on the left based on an existing option list or an existing taxonomy. If you click on one of these products, you can go into the detail of the product. You can see the different fields that we have here. You can edit the fields if you want. So a lot of functionalities. What I wanted to show you is basically an internal integration. It's called internal integration. So as example, if you go to the admin section, one thing you can do is to define what we call triggers. You can think of triggers as basically listeners. So you can listen to specific events and trigger an action based on that. So if you go and define a new trigger, in the conditions section here, you can add, let's say I want to listen for m.pcm.product. And then I want to say, like, if I can listen into any change on the m.pcm.product, or I can say, like, okay, I want to listen if this specific field has been updated, like if the status has been updated, as example. Here, like in the objective, I can say, okay, I want to listen to creation, modification, deletion. So if any of these events happened, the listener will listen into that, and then it can trigger a condition. Now, in the condition section, you can define whatever, in the action section, you can define whatever action you want. So let me show you the actions, like what you can do with actions. Like with actions, you have different type of actions. So if we go to actions section here, you can add a new action, and then we have different types. So you see in the type dropdown, you have action script. If you remember that script I showed you a couple of slides ago, like you can trigger that script using this action, or you can have an API call. Like I want to call an API defined elsewhere. You can call Azure Event Hub, Azure Service Bus, and you have too many types you can use. You can pass different parameters as well. And last thing I want to show you is the scripts. So basically, you have an UI here where you can add your own scripts. Click the button on the right here. As example, link product to asset. You can call it like action script because I want to trigger it through action. Hopefully I can find it. Yeah, here you go. And then you can click on the edit button here. And basically in this editor, you can add your script. So if I want to take this script as example, add it here. And then I can build it, I can save changes, and then I can trigger it and link my products. I can do actual build, like similar to how you build like your project in Visual Studio as example. So using these internal integration features like the trigger, the actions, you can basically do integration with other systems. One of the existing integrations, I believe it's with Sitecore Commerce. So basically within Content Hub, you can sync your products into the Sitecore Commerce, like using Azure Service Bus. This is just an example that have been there, but you can probably do the same thing with other systems if needed. You can utilize Azure Service Bus action. I showed you in the action sections. And this can trigger or send a message to the service bus, and then your code, as example, can listen to the service bus messages and do whatever you want with the data being passed. That's pretty much what I have. I think in the next section about best practices, Gaurav will walk you through that. Gaurav, if you want to share your screen, please go ahead.
Yeah, thank you, Mohammed. Let me share. see my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
Okay. Something's happening. Let me share it again. Okay. Uh, Thank you, Mohammed, for handing over to me. So, as these guys already talk about the content of things, so we worked on a project at the PCM product, and we found like these are some best practices that you can follow because these are based on our understanding and also Sitecore recommended some of the things. So we are going to talk about these things a little bit in the later slides. So I'm just going to uh, read this one by one here. So while creating the schema, we should take care of few things. So these are the things like analyze field structure. So when I say analyze field structure, let's suppose you want to create 200 fields. So you need to understand like the field structure. Like if you want to create this as a which type, like string type, numeric type, option list, taxonomy, or what? Because you need to understand the future use as well. Sometime like this happened to us as well. Sometime like we created some field as a taxonomy, and later on like we get to know like no, we didn't need to do it, and we can do it as a string or numeric. So it's better to do that analysis initially before doing anything. So because once you create any field, you cannot rename or something like that. You need to delete it and recreate it again. So that's like just analyze the field structure first. Then, if possible, create more string, numeric, and boolean field instead of just taxonomies and all. And if I like, as Mohammed already suggested, option is a taxonomy. So if you want to do the drop down options, like you want to give the option to select an existing thing, like as a drop down. So you can create option list or taxonomy, but we can decide if we should go with option list or taxonomy. So I'll talk about this in the later slides as well, on what basis we can choose. But right now I can say like if we need facets, security, these things, then we can go with taxonomy. If we don't need these things, then we should go with option list because taxonomies also have its own schema. So that's why it's better to have option list if you're not using it in that way. And so we have member groups in schema as Mohammed shared again, and I'll show these again in the demo. So it's possible like to create less than 100 member group because that way like it will not slow down the content of UI. So keep these organized like if you have same kind of field, so try to make less and less member groups and try to create more fields in single member groups. Not in single, like multiple, you can create multiple, but try to create it as less as possible. Then you can apply the conditions on the field and member groups as well. So you can do it like if you have less fields and all, but suppose if you're creating the big project, it has many like 500 fields. So it's not a good idea to create condition directly on field or member group. Again, it will slow down the content up, and you can face the issue of slowness in the content up. And so if you still want to have condition, you can create the pages. So on the, when you create the pages, you can put the condition like for this category or critic family, I want these field. So it will like enhance the performance a lot. Then when you create taxonomy, there are some options like we need to see the cardinality. So we can create one to many, many to many. One to many means it will give us option of to select one property, one value, and if many to many, we can select more than one value. So we need to decide it when we create the taxonomy. Again, we cannot change these properties after creating these. So we need to think about it if we need to give only option of one value selection or multiple value selection. And sometime it happens like with us as well. So we get to know like later we don't need to do multiple, and when we change delete it and create it again, it created issue in graph rebuild. So it's better to do these things initially. Then we can create the self relationship as well. So let's suppose we are working in a m.pcm product schema and we want to have the related products in content hub. So in that case, we need to create the self relationship. So we can create it, no problem, but try to create it as less as possible. And then Mohammed showed you like how you can run the content script in the content hub. You can create it in the content hub. There's no issue. But if you are updating a lot of field, lot of schema, then better to create a console app outside of content hub. Like we were doing, like we were updating thousands of product with the schema. We were updating some values. So we should not do it with the content hub. It will slow down the content hub a little bit. So better to create a separate console app and run from there. So we will discuss some points like in this uh, demo. So okay, so I'll show these in the sandbox as well. So these are the few options. Like you have three options to create a content of schema field. So this is the first option. So these are the data type. You can create a string, boolean, integer, long, decimal, date time offset. Then you have option list and JSON. And these are the thing, like when I was saying you, like you can select multiple or single. So we need to decide this while creating these. If you want to do multiple or single. Then if you create string numeric decimal, then it will be this one. You can type it there. And it's a simple like a Sitecore way template, how you're creating. And Boolean field will like to like this. Okay, now it's the main topic. So we need to understand this, what we should do. So this situation will come when you work on PCM product thing. So you should create a taxonomy or option list. So there are some things like taxonomy provide, there are some things option list provide. So first we will talk about taxonomy, what taxonomy has in it. So in taxonomy, we can have a long list of values. So then you have like extensive list, like although like you cannot have like 500 or 600 fields values, but if you are like more than 50 values, like in a single taxonomy, in a single field, then you use taxonomy because option list can contain only 50 values. So in that case, you can go with the taxonomy. That's the first thing why you should use taxonomy. Then if you want to set a security rule based, then you cannot do it on option list because taxonomy provide how to you can like do security, but option list does not have any option to apply the security. For example, like fruitful brand is a user that can approve only asset of fruitful brand, so that you can only control by taxonomy. There is no option in option list to control the security level. And if you need to inherit your value, then you can go with taxonomy. Like option list can be facet as well, but it cannot inherit from a data model. So for example, like let's suppose you have an option list in some other schema, like we are right now in product schema, and option list is in am.product family definition. So you cannot show that as a facet if you are having option list. But if you have taxonomy, you can show this facet in the relationship as well. Then two more things why you should have the taxonomy. So if you want to have the more than just value, so in option list you can have only values. So but in taxonomy you can keep something else as well. When I say something else as well, that means like taxonomy, you can extend the taxonomy. You can have additional properties in the taxonomy because taxonomies are also are the schema definitions. So you can add description and you can add title, some labels. Those things are supported in taxonomy. But option list will only hold the one values. That's it. And so you can manage the hierarchy, the multiple level, because there is no end. Like you can have n number of hierarchy in the taxonomy, but option list only provide the 5 level of hierarchy. So if you want these properties, then go with taxonomy. These things, then why? If you don't need these any of these, then don't go with taxonomy because taxonomy. If you use taxonomy, it will slow down sometime. If you have more than like certain level of taxonomy, it will slow down your content up. why you should use option list. So as opposed of taxonomy, if you have like a short list of values, like if you have fewer than 50 values, you can go with option list. So thing is that if you need to display the data only, okay, and data is like directly displayed on the entity, so use the option list, don't go with taxonomy. So I would recommend like use option list more if you don't need like security faceting and all things, because option list is very very light, and taxonomy is a little bit heavy because it has a schema in it. So these are the best practice of what to use. But yeah, again, like you need to decide it when you are creating the schema, don't go with it later. Okay. So let's suppose you have any taxonomy flag and you need to be a taxonomy, still like your content a bit slow or something. We need to do some best practice use by like what are the flags. So I'll show you the flags. These are the flags. So I'll show you like I'll tell you like what are the uses of these flags and why you should keep it on or you can keep it off. So I think it's coming up. Okay. So there's a flag named inherit security. So as a name suggested, it is imply with the security. So when entity inherits security setting from its ancestor, determine access to that entity. That means like if you want to have like security from its ancestor, then check this checkbox. If you don't need any kind of security, you don't need to do this on this checkbox. Then there are two flags, content copied and completion copied. So these both are related to search. So the content copy is like where if you want like a full text content search, like from the relation. So just copy it if like you have the value with the space, and also this content copied helps you in search the full name. And content completion is like that is like auto suggestion or auto completion. So if you want these options, then keep it on. Otherwise, just keep it off. Then secured again, like if you want any security kind of thing, so you can like use this flag. So when you create a taxonomy, so I'll show you this as well again. But these are the flag I was talking about. If you don't need it, just don't need to own it. Just do this kind of thing. Okay. Now there is one more like field path relation. I think. Second. Yeah. This allow like you can see the hierarchy. So this allows the seeing the parent on the UI. So if you like check this checkbox or radio button, it will show you the whole hierarchy. So if you like uncheck this, it will only show that last one. So if you want to see the breadcrumb, just make mark it yes, otherwise mark it no. Also, this will like not affect any like much thing, but it will affect only on content of UI kind of thing. Okay. Then as I told you, like taxonomy has its own schema as well. So there, when you create, so the previous one, like when you're creating the field taxonomy field in schema, the next one is like when you want to create a taxonomy. So you have some more flags as well. So you can also disable these flags. So boost, as like we know in Solar Core, we everyone work in Sitecore. So this is just to boost your search. And then including content and including autocomplete, it's the same kind of thing that I discussed previously as well. These are for search, full text search and autocomplete kind of thing. So if you don't need it, just disable it. Then secure the same thing if you want to security or not, just like do it false. So these are the flags that we can put like that. Okay. So conditions. So let me show you actually as well. So it will be easy to let me refresh it, see if it still has a login on. Okay, I'm going here. So first, like let's talk about the schema field. So we are working on product schema. Let's suppose I want to create a new field here. So these are the options. So when you go to properties, so you can have these options. You can create a
Um,
field. Yeah,
Gaurav, I don't think we can see your browser.
I cannot.
We can see no, we can see your slides still.
Okay, let me share it again. Thanks.
Hello. Does anyone have
Yeah,
any questions for Mohammed and Gaurav?
you can ask us. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, Gaurav, I think you can continue. No one
Yeah,
has anything.
you can see him.
yeah, we
Okay,
can
thank
see
you.
the browser now. Yeah,
Okay, so I was here like on the setting. I click on this and I go to schema and I search for m.pcm product. So I was telling you like you can create the new member from here. It will give you the options property, relation, and taxonomy. So when you go to property, it will give you the option of string, boolean, and option list and all. So if we like want to create the taxonomy, so let's suppose I'm not going to create any right now, just I'm showing you. So in advanced tab, you can see these uh, the buttons that radio button that I was talking about. Path relation, taxonomy relation, is content copied, completion copied, secured, inherit secured. So you don't need it, then you can like mark it as this one. So these are the flag I was talking about. And I was also talking about some taxonomy flags as well. So for that, you need to put directly here. Let's suppose like I'm going to any here and no, this is not a good example. Create a new one. Okay. So if you see like this show definition, I can add the value from here like test one. This is the name, this is the label, and this is the one value of taxonomy. So now if you see like right hand side, it's just show definition. So here I was talking about those other flags. So taxonomy has its own schema. If you see here, so here like if you click on the taxonomy name and click on edit, so you can see those flags as I was talking about the last slide, including content, auto completion, and secured and boost. So this is how you can uh, control this. Okay, let's go back to slides again. Can you see slides, guys?
Yeah.
Okay. I think I need to go heavy now. So conditions. So I'll show you like how you can put condition, but as a name implies condition, like if you want condition can be applied to schema, field level or member group level. To particular condition, like we apply to show and hide the field in particular pages. Like we have multiple categories and we want to show the some particular field on some particular category. In that case, we can put the condition. So condition you can put on the field level as well and member group level as well. And if you're going to create more condition on the schema side and field sides, it will create some performance issue. It will create a problem in graph rebuild, and it can delay few things. So it's not good idea to put the more and more condition on the schema level, field level. Instead of apply the conditions on the field and member group, we can create the pages. So in pages, we can like we can handle what are the for what category we want to show this page, and we can enable the field what field we want to show on that particular category. So this is how we can if you go to create any field, so you can go to condition, you can apply what condition here. But if you are creating more and more field, better to not do it from here, and you can create from pages. Oh, sorry. Yeah. Now this member group. So as we can see, like we can create many member groups in a schema. And a member group in a schema can have multiple fields. Means you can create any number of field and number of field. There is no limit in that. Like, but we cannot overburden it again. And in member group, we can have a combination of field, number, string, option list, taxonomy, relationship, etc. So again, we should create a less number of groups. The best practice is that you should create less than 100 member groups. You can create more than that, but it's Sitecore recommendation. Like if you have less member group, it will be less like burden again on the UI. And more member group can create the schema slow. So let me show you real quick what I'm talking about. Yeah. Um, okay. So you see like these are the member groups. So when I was saying like we can create this is one member group, this is another member group. So we should not create it more than 100. We should create it less. So we can have like multiple, many fields in a single member groups. And when I was talking about the conditions, so if you go to this guy, this is a single field. You can create it, sorry, condition, and you can put like in which product category, catalog you want to show this, you can put it the condition here. This is field level, and you can also put it on the member group level as well. But instead of doing this one, I was suggesting to, if you go to the settings and the pages here. So I just create one page for this. I want to show you real quick. So this is the product detail. So this is what like when you go to any product, so you see like it is showing some particular fields, and if you want to control which field should be applied on what pages, so you can create the inner pages. Like I created one inner page, test page, and here when you create the page, here is the condition. So you can apply the condition like for this product, particular product family or category or catalog, just show these things. How can you control like what field to show? Maybe I'm doing it very fast right now because we are less in the time. So if you are going to like these tabs, okay. So we have this guy, entity details. So from here, like you can control what section you want to show, what field you can show. Like if I go to main, I can control these fields should show there on that, or this should not show there. So yeah, this is how we can do it. Now coming back to this guy again. That's it. Any question, guys?
I think we have one question in the chat. How can we debug Content Hub script?
Okay, that's a good question. So you can do it. Come on.
I can
Yeah.
I can answer that. Like you have two ways. Like first thing, if you're doing the script within the Content Hub, the only way to debug it is through like logging. You can
Exactly.
add your logging, like debug logging, info logging, and all these type of logging. And then you can basically see the logging of the execution after the execution, of course. Now, as Gaurav said, like if you're doing the script within console app, like in Visual Studio and executing that from there, you can like debug it similar to debug of any like, Visual Studio application. You can just set your breakpoints and debug it easily from there.
Yep. It's like a simple container provide .NET SDK, so you can create console app and you can debug from here directly.
So it depends where you host your script. If in Content Hub there is now like a breakpoint approach of debugging, you can only like use logging stuff. But if you have it in Visual Studio, you can do like a breakpoints and stuff like Visual Studio debugging.
Okay.
Any other questions, guys?
Yep, I'm having. Yeah, hi, Mohammed Syam and Gaurav. So,
Hey.
like about the debugging only, like the logs. So, is content I'm holding the logs, or like we need to depend on the .NET application itself?
Yes, basically, I think Gaurav, you can go to any of these scripts. Hopefully, we can show that to Aaron. But if you go into one
Which
of
one you
these,
want?
click on anyone. I just want to see like if
Okay, we have this content here.
you
See,
can see the you can see the view logs. You see view logs on the top right. Yeah, this is example of a debug logs on the inside the script. And on the top right, you
Okay.
can see view logging. Like if you click on it, hopefully we can see some.
And
No,
now
but
if you run it,
basically,
then you can do.
yeah,
Yeah.
we need to execute a script to see actual logs. But basically, yes, it's held within the Content Hub. All what you need to do is to go to the script, click on the view logs on the top right, and then you can see
Okay.
all the logs you have done inside the script.
Okay. One more small doubt. So
Sure.
like we having only the .NET option here, or like we having other option also to write down the scripts?
I believe it's just .NET.
Yeah, it's just .NET.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have like some script here, so I'm planning to have one console app here. So I'll do it and I'll let you know guys how you can create console app and debug these things. But yeah, it's only option of .NET for now. What we can know.
Even like like the libraries that you can include, it's limited. You see how, as example, in line 1, we using system.link. Like when you run the scripts inside Content Hub, you have a limited set, I think.
Yeah.
Other than that, you would need to reach out to the like Sitecore support and then ask them to whitelist some DLLs for you or some libraries for you. Like you can't use any library you want. But probably you have more flexibility when you run it in your Visual Studio.
Got it. Thank you.
Sure. Any other questions, guys?
Don't think so.
Okay, perfect.
Stop.